Hello, today is June 27th, 2022. Welcome back to my channel. It has been a month from my last updates. I was busy with work and kids. I would do more videos in the coming days. Today, I'm going to talk about the new aircraft carrier China has just released. China has launched its 003 carrier this month. The 003 carrier with the name Fujian is the third carrier produced by China and the second created domestically. The first Chinese aircraft carrier 001 was commissioned in 2012. It was an overhaul Russian vessel bought from Ukraine. Unlike its predecessor, 003 contains a lot of new technologies, which is a big stride forward for the Chinese Navy. Regarding this news, I was trying to look through the US media to see the reaction. But to my disappointment and surprise, most of the US media, including Washington Post, has not even one single report about this important release, which would have a long and deep impact to the geopolitical balance of the world, and especially Asia and across the Taiwan Strait. Only CNN and the VOA had one very simple news. Let me try to explain to you what 003 is and what it really means to the US dominance in the Blue Sea. A lot of YouTubers refer to the Chinese 003 carrier as Type 003. It's both wrong and right. To say it's wrong, it's because 001, 002, and 003 are just the serial number of carriers that China is releasing. It is true is because in the past 10 years, from the Liaoning warship to the Shandong warship and then to Fujian, the development is so rapid, and each carrier released contains new technologies that is a great leap from the previous one. So if you call it a new type of carrier, that is also true. Chinese is used the name of provinces for their carriers and the city names for other warships such as the frigates. The first carrier is named after Liaoning province, and the second carrier is named after the Shandong province. By looking at the map, we would think that 003 would be either Zhejiang province or Jiangsu province, where the modern Chinese Navy grew out of in Qing dynasty. However, they took the name of Fujian province, which is only separated from Taiwan with the Taiwan Strait. Why does it take this name? A lot of people think it's because the China is aiming to reunite Taiwan. However, I don't think so. The Shandong carrier would be good enough for Taiwan. The 003 is upgraded to be able to support 70 aircrafts. Its electromagnetic catapult would be an overkill for Taiwan. According to the military intelligence from Taiwan, during the Shandong warship military exercise, it is observed that 300 takeoffs within those 2 weeks time frame, which means 20 takeoffs and landings per day, which is far less than the 120 times of US Navy supercarriers. Equipped with the 3 electromagnetic catapults and 2 heavy-duty elevators, which can carry 2 J-15 side by side, the efficiency of takeoff and landing on the new carrier would be greatly improved and very likely match the capability of aircraft carrier in the US Navy. Taiwan is so close to China. With the land-based anti-ship YJ-21 supersonic missiles, US Navy carriers can only stay 1,000 kilometers away during wartime. So I would say it's not accurate to judge that Fujian is only aiming for the unification of Taiwan. Rather, it shows the Chinese ambition for a deep blue sea far beyond the first island chain. I don't want to go into all the technical details of the Fujian ship alongside with US Navy 4th class aircraft carrier, because it's always an apple to orange comparison. I think most people would be interested regarding how does this carrier makes the Chinese Navy compared to the current US Navy. The release of the 003 certainly has pushed Chinese Navy surpass the United Kingdom and Japan as the second place. Britain has 2 Queen Elizabeth class aircraft carriers, but far behind the 11 aircraft carriers of the US Navy, lacks either from the size or the technology. One thing to note that the 003 are using conventional power instead of the nuclear power. Some analysts say this might be the limitation of Chinese technology. But we all know China is the world's leader of nuclear power plant construction, and Chinese already have nuclear-powered submarines. So it would not be too tough a job to build a nuclear aircraft carrier, even though it's more difficult than both of them. A lot of military experts estimate that because it's using conventional power, so the Fujian would not be able to sail beyond the first island chain. First, I'd like to say that the core interests of China are all within the first island chain. However, the rapid launch of 003 and the planning of their 004, which is very likely to be nuclear power, certainly shows Chinese Navy is growing from light blue to deep blue, and will not be contained within the first island chain. And if you have paid attention to recent development in the Solomon Islands in South Pacific, you would know that the influence of Chinese go far beyond the first island chain already. The US is trying very hard to contain China influence and reach, such as forming the AUKUS and the Quad within Asia. Asia is not like Europe, and they do not have the history of war and hate between the Europe and the Russia. It's easy to see this effort will only create instability and possible conflict within the Asia-Pacific region. The Chinese is absolute world leader in building ships. In the recent years, warship commissioned into Chinese Navy like putting dumplings into pots. I heard rumors say that after the sinking of the flagship of Moscow, even the Russians are looking into Chinese warships to replace their flagship in the Black Sea. Even though Chinese Navy have come late in the game of aircraft carriers, just less than 10 years ago, its new warships and aircraft carriers really take on latest modern technology. The launch system has skipped the steam-powered and jumped from the ski jump directly to electromagnetic style, which would be more efficient than the Nimitz-class aircraft carriers which US have. US fourth-class aircraft carrier has been commissioned since 2013. However, the magnetic electrocatapult still have high failure rate. When the old Nimitz-class aircraft carrier got decommissioned and before the new fourth-class aircraft carrier becomes stable enough, there would be a period where the Chinese Navy have better aircraft carriers. Just like what is happening to the International Space Station, the Chinese space station will become the only one in space after the International Space Station planned decommissioning in 2030. The way US is trying to limit China and create military alliances to confine its influence in Asia seems really desperate. With the rising domestic issues in the US and the huge debt put on during the pandemic, can US be able to duplicate the NATO model into Asia Pacific? After the Russia-Ukraine war, this would be a big question. People are seeing more and more clearly how the conflict has been raised by piling up weapons and missiles and applying more pressures around Russia and China. This is against the Western philosophy. And with the non-stop Ukraine-Russia war, the pain of Ukraine people can be felt anywhere in the world, especially those small nations, such as Taiwan. The Chinese 003 aircraft carrier raised a big challenge to the international order US is trying to maintain.